For a long time, the story of human space exploration had a very clear ending. The Apollo missions and the Cold War defined deep space as the exclusive domain of the United States and the Soviet Union, and for decades, the global consensus was that the space race was over. Mars, specifically, became a quiet scientific outpost. NASA rovers occasionally scraped the red dirt, sending back pictures of a dead, empty world that posed no immediate strategic value to anyone else. Reaching the Martian surface is notoriously difficult. The atmosphere is thick enough to burn up a spacecraft, but too thin to slow it down easily. Historically, half of all missions sent there fail entirely during a highly volatile entry phase engineers call the 7 minutes of terror. Then, in 2020, while the world was locked down and distracted by a global pandemic, a historically quiet space program made a massive leap. China launched Tianwen-1. They skipped the traditional, incremental steps of planetary exploration. Their mission plan included putting an orbiter in space, dropping a lander to the surface, and deploying a rover, all on their very first try. Zhurong's success ended the era of Western dominance, forcing the global community to consider exactly what China intended to find in the dust. Zhurong landed in a vast, flat region called Utopia Planitia. Because it takes 20 minutes for a signal to travel from Earth to Mars, the rover had to navigate the harsh terrain largely on its own, systematically creeping forward and taking measurements without constant human input. This diagram shows exactly how Zhurong scanned the area. As the rover moved, it fired ground-penetrating radar down through the topsoil. The resulting data pointed to massive deposits of frozen water trapped right beneath the rock. By pulling back to a global map of Mars, we can see why this specific location matters. Until now, scientists expected to find usable ice primarily at the freezing, inhospitable Martian poles. Zhurong found these deposits right near the equator, an area with much milder temperatures and far easier orbital access for future astronauts. Accessible equatorial water makes Utopia Planitia the most valuable landing site on the planet. Typically, space agencies like NASA release raw scientific data to the global public for peer review. China operates differently. Years after the landing, the complete radar scans from Zhurong remain tightly guarded. Aerospace experts suspect this secrecy is highly intentional. Those hidden radar files hold the exact coordinates for the most resource-rich, accessible landing sites on the planet. China is actively building out the next phases of its off-world strategy. They are designing missions to mine near-Earth asteroids for rare metals, and by 2028, they aim to launch Tianwen-3, a highly complex mission designed to scoop up Martian soil and fly it back to Earth. All of this hardware is building toward the 2040s, when China plans to use their heavy lift rockets to send human crews. As you can see from these isolation domes built in the Chinese desert, they are actively testing how to keep a permanent crew alive. The Zhurong rover acted as the scouting party for a massive multi-decade blueprint to colonize the Red Planet. The discovery of off-world water and minerals is making Mars a geopolitical battleground for future resources. During the Cold War, the international community tried to prevent off-world land grabs. They signed the Outer Space Treaty, which explicitly states that no single nation can claim sovereign ownership over another planet. Current laws prevent nations from claiming sovereign territory, yet those same laws allow them to extract and control the water beneath the soil. This creates a strict first-mover advantage. If a country lands exactly where the ice is, builds a permanent base, and sets up a local communication network, they monopolize that territory by default because no rival nation can safely land equipment in that exact same spot. This exact scenario is forcing the United States and European space agencies to intensely monitor China's orbital activities. We are watching the early stages of a new technological Cold War, driven entirely by who can build infrastructure the fastest. Every billion spent on deep space today is an investment in permanent infrastructure, aimed at controlling the resources that will